Good morning. We're from the ACE Consulting Company Limited, and we're presenting on the virtual design and construction of the Iroom at KB 526. We would like to construct a user-friendly Iroom with high technology and flexibility with innovative design. We aim to render inclusive virtual design and construction services on the proposed design of Iroom, which includes the conference and tutorial room, implementing electronic implementations and movable equipments and furnitures. We also would like to contribute to the environment using new and advanced technologies. By using the VDC model, we can allow management to run smoothly, which increases the flexibility of project through two major characteristics. Virtual, it provides computer-based description of projects and design, which means all model assess data and models are interrelated to the others. With VDC model, we can improve the coordination and exchanging information between stakeholders, which provides solution as quickly as possible to resolve any problems, especially at the design phase, and also it reduces the on-site risk. Our major design has two purposes. First, conference room, that is to facilitate decision-making and collaboration between stakeholders during multidisciplinary development of AEC projects. And for tutorial room, it is for the facilitation of tutoring and training of multidisciplinary VDC or BIM for students majored in construction-related courses. This is a list of major elements that we're going to construct in this project, and there are 25 of them in total. We will be using the POP model for the explanation later. First P represents product. They are building elements according to the project requirement, which affects the subsequent processes. For O, it is organization. Project requirements were listed here regarding to architects, contractors, or clients' involvement for designing, constructing, and operating. For the last P, it is process, and it is what that is required to accomplish fulfillment of functional objectives. Moving on to the B plus level POP model, and we are going to explain the products part first. We are using the framework of function, form, behavior, so we will explain the functions of the product first, and then we suggest different items for the models that we can use during construction, and then we explain the cost and the behavior of it. The first item is the smart board. It provides platform for interactive sections, which reduces the use of traditional materials that is more environmental friendly, such as we're not going to use paper, so it has a better and flexible communication. One video camera is inserted in the middle of smartboard for video conferences, and these are the two forms that we're suggesting. And that is the cost and the size of it. The second item is the automatic movable wall by Skyfold. It allows sound insulation from the outside environment. It is covered by plywood and fiberglass to absorb sound waves for noise control, and it enhances the sound absorption with cleanable fabric. When it's not in use, it retracts into the ceiling. The third is the visualizer that delivers projection for objects. The fourth, automatic door. It provides entrance for users to enter the room, and also it has the use of sound insulation. Next, we have some movable chairs. It provides seats for users that includes wheels for flexible movement. It is dynamic to furnishing multi-objective training and conference spaces. Since it's movable, so it reduces storage space. There will be 26 chairs provided in use to accommodate 25 users. Now we have some tables. They are also dynamic to furnishing multi-objective training and conference spaces since they have wheels attached to them, so it reduces storage space as well. There will be 26 of them provided. We have HVAC control as well, which allows heating, ventilation, and air conditioning to room in order to provide a comfortable thermal and ventilated environment. It is connected to the current air conditioning system. We have a projector for projecting anything shown on the smartboard, and it is lateral adjustment. Then it is the loudspeakers for rendering comprehensive sound coordination for the whole Iroom that provides sound for 10 microphones, smartboards, and also the screen. For laptop computers, we would like to provide 2 computers for the lecturer or presenters during their presentations, and 5 computers will be provided for students without their own computers during tutorial classes, and 3 computers will be provided for professionals to make their prompt work during conferences. It is for the necessity hardware to support VIM rendering, so it is linked to the smartboard and audio system, which has the sufficient size for monitoring the facilitation of BIM. So the computers are all installed with BIM software for conferences and tutorials. Since laptop computers are provided, obviously there is a Wi-Fi system to support it. It is mounted to the ceiling at sites, so it renders sufficient Wi-Fi for users to access the internet. We also have a suspended ceiling to provide platform for lighting, fire surface, and ventilation equipment. It is in high sound insulation for higher level of security. For lighting, it is to render standard surface luminous for reading and writing. It is a adequate diffuse light rays to prevent presence of glare, so it is evenly distributed downward to diffuse light to the users. The very new and fresh item we're going to include is the electronic panel switches. It controls electronic supply, so it is energy saving and environmental friendly. It also is able to control part of the lighting for different purposes during presentations because it has 12 different sets of lighting levels, so presenters can choose whatever they want during their presentations for different effects. Then we have some sockets to provide platform for electronic supply. It provides voice, data, and audio-visual connections. And one socket can already support power to smart boards, so it is more environmental friendly. We have some cabinets provided for the abundant space for department to display different awards and dissertations. For sound absorption panel, it soaks up sound inside a room, which is for noise control and sound insulation. It is inserted to suspend the ceiling of this measured area. We are also providing microphones to interact with loudspeakers to provide wide-ranging sound coordination in the room. Then we have the panel top system for lecture capture surface and video recording of lectures if presenters would like to use it during their conferences or tutorials. They can use this for recording. And we have the project mount to render stable and easily modified projection during their presentations. Furthermore, we have the sprinkler system to supply immediate fire treatment once fire is detected in the room through the sensor. Then we have the barrier-free door operator that detects for automatic door in case anyone is at entrance, which also closes the door for energy saving when nobody is there. And also there is this card reading function for security purposes. We have a touch screen on podium that provides a space for users to draw or write during presentations and allows users to control the smartboard during presentations. Then we have windows for natural ventilation and lighting. And lastly, we have blinds to provide window covering and control of sunlight and ensuring the privacy of all the people and members in the room. Now I'll pass to my colleague Albert to talk about the Iroom project design.
Thank you, Macy. I'm Albert. Now I'm going to talk about our Iroom design and the features of our design. Firstly, our project located at room 526 on 5th floor of Nose Building. It is the second largest room on 5th floor with approximately 180 meters square. The advantage of room 526 is that it has a rectangular shape without columns, with a large usable space and high potential in redesign. Also, it is not yet fully re-utilized, not being occupied very often since the use is very limited or regionally, which is mainly to conduct any lecture, but the occupant you serve, which can be 60 to 70 as the maximum, actually allows it a higher potential after redesign. And here you can see the floor plan with the room 526 at the center of the red circle. Then I will talk about the objective of this design. Our objectives are to utilize the space in that room, to incorporate new technologies into the room, which is an Iroom, and also to provide multi-usage like conference, tutorial, and lecture. And here you can see the Node 526 2D sketches. The first sketch shows the floor plan above the ceiling, false ceiling. It can show the loudspeaker, the CCTV, and also the projector. The second one, you can see a skyfold system, HVAC system, and lighting system. And then the third sketch shows the smartboard podium, the movable furniture like chairs and tables, and also the cabinets, which is a feature being kept from the current design, and also the door. This is a simple floor plan of our design. And here is the section plan of our design. As you can see, we designed the room in 5 layers, allow students with different heights to have an easier look at the smartboard at the front. And there is a advanced sockets, also with some different kinds of panel like electric panel and classroom control panel to control with any electronic supplies, appliances, and also the loudspeaker and furnitures. And here we show a fast field footage of our design. And now we're going to enter the Iroom. You can see the panel, smartboard, the classroom with furnitures, windows, cabinets, and also the HVAC and lighting system at the ceiling. Then here we're going to show the 4D model together with the timeline of the construction. Firstly, I would like to show you the demolition of the old room 526. First, we would try to remove the ceiling and an HVAC lighting system at above, and then the furnitures, cabinets, walls, and finally the floors. Then we're going to show you the construction. Start with floors, layering of floors, sockets, walls, windows, trims, walls, HVAC system with the skyfold lighting, and then the false ceiling, and any electronic appliances on the wall, cabinets, furnitures, smartboard, projectors, and finally the door. And then I'm going to talk about the features of our designs. The first feature is the skyfold system. It is a very new design, as the scaffold system allows us to separate the room in two parts. The left sketches soldered room in its original state, and then with the scaffold system applied, the room can be separated in two parts when needed. So the two parts of the design are identical with the furnitures, sockets, smartboards, and while separated, they can operate individually. And here you show the 2D plan of the sketches. And after applied to the system, the room can be separated to 526A and 526B with the scaffold wall at the center, as you can see, the black one. This design also allowed a higher flexibility in the use of the two parts of the room. As you can see, the left part can be used as tutorial for some kinds of discussion, and while the right part can be used as the lecture. Also, with the scaffold system turned off, we can also conduct some big tutorial with a large discussion involving talking about 32 or even to 40 people. Lastly, the conference mode allowed the signature room of the surveying or the real estate and construction department to have a big conference at the center. As you can see, the conference allowed a number of participants of 20 or even a bit more. The smartboard or the podium can also be used as the tools or presentation during the conference. The second design feature is to avoid sound disruption, as you may be a bit curious, as the scaffold system may separate the room into two parts, so the sound from the other part of another room may disturb another part of the room. However, I tried to apply some of the features in order to reduce any sound disruption. See, we're going to apply some special design, like some refill and trims on the wall, which is an acoustic wall, to reduce any deflection and reflection of sound. Also, the false ceiling, as we try to use some sound absorptional acoustic ceiling with acoustic panel on the wall as well, in order to absorb the sound wave to reduce any sound disruption. And the third feature is the electronic panel switch. The electronic panel switch contains the temperature control with automatic adjustment. Also, it is able to control the lighting and also the scaffold system with just few buttons on it. The two pictures at the right up lower corner show the preliminary design of the electronic panel switch. The fourth feature is that the touch screen on the podium. The podium is mainly used by any tutors or lecturers or professors and doctors. The touchscreen allowed the lecturer to control the smartboard with just a few fingers. As this is a touchscreen, it can also be using any drawing, writing, and can be transferred to the smartboard directly. It is also able to control the microphone and projector. So this allows the lecturer to easier to control the lecturing and also the tutorial if needed, and a better presentation. The fifth feature is the new socket system. The left one is the one behind the podium, This is a more advanced socket which can be connected to the podium or any laptops needed for the lecturer or any electronic appliances like visualizers, while the others, the right sketches show the sockets all around the room. This is not a simple socket to provide electricity, and this also allowed any AVI and HDMI input, such as sound, video, from any laptops from the students. So anyone can display their laptops materials or presentation materials directly from the sockets. Then Ling will talk about the organization chart of our project in the sense of the management.
Then I'm going to talk about the organization. This is our organization chart, which is the form of organization in the FFV model. It shows clearly the roles and responsibilities of each stakeholders. We can see that the client is at the bottom because they are the one who financially support and initiate the building project. They also give their requirements to the project manager. The project manager, who is appointed by the client directly, will coordinate and manage all other stakeholders like the architect, engineers, model facilitator, etc. There are some interactions among the stakeholders themselves too. The purchasing agent trades with the suppliers, asking for some quotation, negotiating with them, and also responsible for the transportation of the materials. And the contractor nominates subcontractor for the finishing work. For the functional objectives or organization, according to Huang's business and management, different parties are responsible for their respective duties. They are also required to collaborate effectively with each other throughout the entire building process in order to guarantee the success of this project. Then I will talk about the functions and behaviors of different stakeholders. A point to note that for the overall behaviors, the total cost of professionals should take up less than 16% of the total construction cost. Throughout the entire process, there are mainly two stakeholders, the client and the project manager. The functions of the client is to give the requirements upon the outcome performance of Iroom. Also, the client is financially supporting this project. Behavior is not applicable for the client. Then for the project manager, the function of him is to manage and monitor the entire process. He also needs to instruct clearly the client's requirements to other stakeholders. Also, he has to settle any problems arising from the project. The behavior of project manager is 1. For the design aspect, there are 3 stakeholders, the architect, engineers, and the model facilitator. The function of architect is to create drawings for the layout of Iroom. The behavior of architect is 1. The functions of engineers are to calculate the structural loadings and to make up and coordinate building systems for the Iroom. For the behaviors of engineers, we need 1 structural engineer and 1 building services engineer. The function of model facilitator is to ensure the POP and VDC models' compatibility and its performance. The behavior of model facilitator is 1. For the procurement and finance aspect, there are 2 stakeholders, the quantity surveyor and the purchasing agent. The functions of quantity surveyor is to monitor and control the cost of this construction project. The behavior of quantity surveyor is 1. The functions of purchasing agent is to buy materials needed from the suppliers, including some bargaining process inside, and the behavior of it is 1. For the construction aspect, there are mainly 4 stakeholders: contractor, subcontractor, suppliers, and IT technicians. The functions of contractor are to be responsible for construction work, plan the scheduling of the construction process, and to nominate subcontractor for the finishing work. The behavior of contractor is 1. For the subcontractor, the function of it is to complete the finishing work, and the behavior of it is 1. For the suppliers, the function of it is to supply necessary materials during the construction work, and the behaviors of it is not applicable because it depends on the number of necessary materials. The functions of IT technicians is to be responsible for any IT setting in the Iroom, including giving advice upon any IT systems in the Iroom. The behavior of technician is 2.
Here comes to the Gantt chart for the schedule. First, we will have the design stage. The design brief site proposal, preliminary cost plan will start at the same time and last for 3 days. And then we'll have the detailed design and it lasts for 10 days. Next, we'll have the tendering stage, and it includes preparation of the tender document, tendering, tender analysis, and to arrange the contract. The third stage is the construction work. It's the longest period and will last for 67 days. We will have the demolitions and alternations, laying the cables, rising floor slab installation, finishes for flooring, HVAC system installation, false ceiling lighting system installation, and the fitting out and IT installations. We can see that there are some overlap in the charts and it indicates the flow. And we will have the final stage is the handover stage. It includes the final inspection and to hand over to the client. And then we have the FFB model for process. For design, it is to finish the design plans with the dimensions and orientations. There are minor possibility of delay unless there are serious dispute amongst the stakeholders. And second stage is the tendering, and is to select the most suitable contractor for this project. And there is no possibility of delay. And for construction, we subdivide it into demolition, renovation, and fitting out and IT installation. For demolition, it includes to remove the furniture and installations within the original room, and there is no possibility of delay. And for renovation, it is to remove the room by laying the cables, flooring, and also different kinds of installation. And delay may arise if the previous tasks are not completed on time. And for fitting out and IT installation, is to move in the new furniture and also equipment and to fix them in the room according to the design. However, the actual situation of the room may differ from the design, and so inside modifications may be needed. And finally, we come to handover, and it includes the final inspection, checking, and then we'll hand over the room to the client. And there is no possibility for delay for this stage. We can illustrate the interaction of product, organization, and process model by using the example of movable elements. And in the red table, we can see the function of the product, movable chairs and tables. And in the Gantt chart, we can see that it's involved in the fitting out stage. And in the organization chart, the client gives his comment and the project manager manages the following tasks, include the purchase manager will buy them from the supplier, and supplier supplies the chairs and also the tables, and the contractor will be responsible for the fitting out. And finally, we can have a look of what we expect to be in the Iroom.
Moving on to the risk part, the possible risk will be introduced here. Firstly, the behaviors of product may induce product price fluctuations. The form of organization may cause poor coordination among stakeholders, like a duplicated organization form may incur miscommunication. Next, there may be discrepancy between client's expectation and the final outcome, which may be caused by the function of process. The process may not be carried out accordingly, and there is misconception on the process function. Safety concerns during construction work arises, which concerns a particular part of the organization, namely the construction workers. The stakeholders may concern of the above-mentioned risk includes clients, project manager, architect, purchase manager, and contractor. Their responsibilities are listed here. For instance, client is required to give clear requirements which may avoid miscommunications on the function of process. The project manager is responsible for managing the entire construction process and to resolve any questions and problems arising from the projects. Architect is responsible to design the layout, and hence he is also responsible for the function of process. Purchase manager and contractor has their own responsibility to avoid risk too. However, VDC and POP can help to avoid or minimize the risk. How VDC and POP can help? It is listed here. The VDC can educate the stakeholders that visually communicate cases phases. It can provide private and secure web-based workspace for stakeholders to resolve any dispute between stakeholders. It can allow automated analytic processes. It can facilitate efficient transfer of information, an integrated 3D laser scanning data to review project conditions, and creating 4D models to supplement CPM schedule analysis. The POP model can also allow the team to focus upon a single product or service. It can help understand the approximate price of every necessary items and to provide a more understandable and persuasive depiction of complex issues. Therefore, modifying the models is essential to make sure the risk can be coordinated. To modify the models, it is essential to provide professional services to update the model as changes are made to the design. It is also required to record and edit the process notes efficiently by every stakeholder easily. Checking the models for its completeness, determining if it is repurposed for construction is needed, and adding manual takeoff items to express elements that were not contained in the models is also crucial.
Thank you. This is the end of our presentation, and it will be followed by our group mate's personal reflection on the studio project.
And hello, I'm Albert, and I'm going to talk about my personal reflection on this studio project. Firstly, I think the objectives of this project is allow us to cooperate with each other, playing a different kind of roles such as an architect, a surveyor, a contractor, and consultant, how to realize a project in real life and make it into practice with our knowledge before. And with a positive sign of reflection, I think I learned a lot in doing the drawing or modeling like BIM and Revit in this studio project. For the negative side, I think I can participate more in the information like the FFB or the POP model, so I can learn more, because most of my work is in the drawing of sketch or modeling, which is a bit too focused on this part. And then the pattern is insight I saw is that the cooperation with different kind of roles is sometimes very time consuming and need patience to coordinate with each other's work, because sometimes the other parties may not know what you are doing and your own profession and also your professional knowledge. They may not have a full insight and detailed understanding towards your own profession, such as the surveyor towards the profession of architects. I think after this project it inspired my interest towards the building surveying industry, so I hope to explore more in this industry, such as finding internships in this industry and learn more or be more proficient in the use of drawing tools software like Revit and BIM. And for my reflection on for my own personal comments on this project, in the first week I didn't participate much because I'm too busy in the first week. I would say it is an accident which haven't happened in every previous studio before. and I can't do anything in the first week. But I think in the second week, our team cooperate with each other well, and we can show some team spirit that we can still have a very good progress after the first week. And even we have to do all the works in a week, a project of 2 weeks, we have to finish it in 1 week at the end. And for me, because I did not do any of the designs or drawing in the first week, so I spent if the whole week of the second week in order to finish my drawing, because it takes times for me to learn, because I haven't used this kind of software before, like Work and also the AutoCAD and BIM, Revit. I haven't used any one of them before. I have to learn and then put into practice and have my own design on it. It takes me a lot of time and I feel overnight, so I would say I spent a whole week in doing it. For the curious, which means I think this may refer to the POP model, FFP process, this kind of things. I didn't participate much, but I have to coordinate with my groupmates, because I'm the one who designed that room, so I know my room best. So I have to sometimes maybe point out that they may misunderstand my design and just make some changes on it to make the whole project more consistent and coherent with my idea. And one thing is that I learned from this project is that one's potential can be reached far more than we assume, because I can learn and do all the drawings in a few days, which is I would consider this as a miracle after the finish of the project. And one thing a bit irritating is that sometimes you have to being the one who design, sometimes you have to accept the mistake made by some groupmates, and suggest they can produce a satisfactory work that I can adopt to produce my maybe a 4D model. So I have to sometimes do some of others' job by myself, and which wastes much more time than usual. And thank you. This is the end of my personal reflection. Thank you.
The objective of this studio project is to give us a chance to know, to use, and to become familiar with virtual design and construction, and building information modeling. Throughout the process, I learned more about VDC, like I know it can be achieved by incorporating different models together, like the BIM models, product organization process framework, etc. I also learned the availability of different charts for the POP model, such as Gantt chart and organization charts. I understood how the success of project can be enhanced by using VDC. For example, the organization chart shows clearly different duties of the stakeholders. The Gantt chart also suggests the scheduling and sequencing of the work to be done. The BIM can virtually visualize the final outcome of the project so that the client can give precise requirements and comment on it. However, due to the limit of work distribution, not everyone got a chance to actually use that kind of modeling technique, so that not everyone can acquire all experience relating to all these kinds of modeling techniques. At least everyone can know the framework for VDC. Therefore, the future steps to be taken are to ask about the user experience from the other groupmates. Talking about the groupmates, I think that the communication can be further improved. Because of the not so satisfying communication, there might be some misunderstandings among ourselves. Therefore, I learned that communication is so important for every group project. In our final stage of video production, I think our cooperation has improved, and we understand the importance of team spirit. I spent 3 days to figure out how to do the modeling, like some innovative precedent ways, and to answer the questions. One thing I found quite frustrating is the Smart Apps function of Microsoft PowerPoint to make organization charts it's not so user friendly. It was a disaster when I tried to add like different stakeholders and their duties to the chart using smart arts. So I tried it using AutoCAD since I want to build a 3D organization chart, but it didn't go well too. After all, I went back to Microsoft PowerPoint and tried to solve the above problems by using a combination of smart arts and workboxes and diagrams.
Throughout this studio project, it was very encouraging for me to learn the concepts of virtual design and construction and building information modeling, which were incorporated with integrated concurrent engineering and product organization process framework, as well as the framework of function, form, behavior. We were asked to construct an Iroom for the Department of Real Estate and Construction in the University of Hong Kong, which is for facilitating decision making and project collaboration during multidisciplinary development and the management of AEC projects. These require high-tech and advanced virtual design skills, so we had to put in effort in learning them before starting the project, and it was a rather challenging yet pleasurable experience. Contributing in finishing the models was not the biggest challenge after researching and building efficient knowledge about it. Completing the whole project was more demanding. There were different unknowns and challenges when it comes to dealing with group work, since individual members have to assist or comply with each other to act jointly. Although misunderstanding could have caused a lot of trouble due to miscommunication, but we have eventually overcome the problems and developed even better results than ever. So I realized the importance of team spirit and mutual support. I look forward to working on the upcoming studio tasks together.
For this project, it's the first time for me to learn about VDC, and I've learned a lot. I was first very surprised by many new words such as the FFB, POP, or the Gantt charts. I thought they were very complicated, but indeed, they help us a lot to, for example, group the items of design, construction, and also management together, and we can easily look at the interactions between them. And I think for our group, we only have 3 weeks, and it's very much for them for us to finish all the models and also the animations within the time, but finally we can manage to do so. And in the future, I think that the BIM and also the 4D models will be very popular, and I think that I should work hard to improve on these parts, and because they will be very useful in the future. And for this homework, I do think that we do not have many face-to-face meeting. For example, just one times a week, I think. And it's because many groupmates have said that they have many very obsessed with other assignment or homeworks or dissertation proposal because it's near the end of the semester. But I do think that all of us need to dedicate more effort to hold the meetings together. We try to have the communication through Facebook or the WhatsApp, and I think that as a group leader for this group, it's difficult to notify every groupmate on the for example some other shift of work, or some groupmates have said that they need to extend some time because they cannot finish before the internal deadlines, and sometimes I can only just post some message on the WhatsApp group to mass message something like that, but some groupmates seem to overlook that. And it's very irritating when professor come to tell me that some groupmates complained about me and also another groupmate have plagiarized something. But indeed it's not true, because firstly I'm not responsible for that part, and the groupmate for doing that part, he has already made his own version of it, and is not plagiarized at all. And I think that if the groupmates really have some confusion or some queries, they should approach me first and ask me to explain or something. I will do whatever I can to help them, and if they are dissatisfied, they can also discuss within the groups too. And I think that group harmony and also team spirit is very important, and I think we all of them need to dedicate more efforts to improve this aspect in the next year, and because we still have one more studio course. And one more thing that I've learned in this studio is mostly about the Gantt charts, and because I at first I was very not very familiar with the MSP, but finally I have looked at a lot of YouTube videos and something, and I work on the overlaps and also flow, because I found that we need to include some flow on the schedule, because it's very risky without them, because if any delay, it will be very troublesome for the whole schedule. We will upset the whole schedule if we do not have the flow. And this all I learned from this project. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Roy. I think this studio is quite interesting, and I learned much more about the Iroom design, like what elements should be included in the Iroom, why these elements are so important to be included. And of course, I learned the Gantt chart, the POP models, and how these models can be incorporated into the construction industry. This is the first time I tried to use Prezi, quite a new software to me, to make a presentation. I tried hard to figure out how to make a good design of Prezi, how to use Prezi better in the presentation, and I found that it's quite useful and better than the traditional PowerPoint because we can more conveniently add the videos and photos in it. That means we can have a better interactions with our audience. And I tried to use Prezi instead of the PowerPoint in the future presentations. I'm sorry that we did not perform well at the very beginning of this studio scenario. We might have some personal stuffs like assignments in other courses. I'm really sorry about that, but I think we have most of my teammates has tried their best. At the end of the studio scenarios, they show the team spirits. They communicate better about the design, about the sketches, the ideas, etc. And I really appreciate it. Yeah, like Albert, he had tried to compensate the time loss in the first assignment. I think his 4D animations and 3D models are impressive, are good. And Wiki, Maisie, and Link, they try their best in their areas like POP models, Gantt chart, etc. And I'm glad to have these teammates, and I hope I can in the future have a chance to work with them, and I hope Dr. Guy, you also enjoy our presentation and our work. Thank you.
Thanks. I would like to appreciate this project for it to give a chance to get to know more about the industrial practice in regarding the construction project, regarding its idea, the classification, the boundary setting of it, and the construction project, the defining and the programming. And this project has granted me a lot of chance to get to know more about what a BIM is, what a FFB model is, and these are the things that I never encountered in my career and in my academic learning. The understanding of these industrial standards and concepts would benefit me a lot in my industrial development in the future. And finally, I want to appreciate to what my group mates have done. We are not collaborating in a smooth way, but eventually we have finished our jobs and finished our projects eventually, and I do hope we can have another way to collaborate in future. And I have understand my incapability of myself, like I am lack of proficiency in BIM drawing and computer programming, so I think I will have to improve it after the project and when I have leisure time. Thank you.